Triceps, shoulders and chest are very important for bulking up and getting a bigger and more powerful physique. Today I'll be doing my tried and tested workout that has blown up my shoulders, triceps and chest. When I was younger, I was always quite skinny, didn't particularly take care of myself or treat my physical appearance with respect. Now I'm in my peak condition, at my heaviest weight with more muscle mass than I have ever had. This series is for those people who are trying to bulk up from skinny to swole, just like I am. So the first exercise on this push workout is actually incline dumbbell bench press. So I've gone over the form for this in my previous push day episode, but in this episode I'm going to go over why in particular I'm doing this at an incline. If we're talking about for aesthetics and bodybuilding purposes, the most important muscle in the chest muscle group, which is 3 muscles, let's say the top one, so the upper, the middle and the lower chest. The upper chest is actually the most important one for aesthetics. More importantly, in t-shirts or just in clothes in general. This is because let's say you're wearing a loose fitting t-shirt, right? Obviously the material is going to be draped over your body and it's going to obscure certain parts of your body. For example, you're not going to be able to see your abs if you have them if you're wearing a loose fitting t-shirt, as opposed to if you're wearing a tight t-shirt, because the material is obviously not attached to you, so it's just kind of flowing over, you can't see it anymore. This is why the upper chest is so important for aesthetics and for when you're wearing a t-shirt, for example. So the top of the chest is actually the thing that is shown the most beneath the t-shirt in terms of that is what the material would be draped over, as opposed to the middle of the chest, which doesn't have that big of an effect, and the lower chest, which has a minimal effect on how you look when you're in a t-shirt or something like that. Because the material is draped over it, you're not going to be able to see those. In addition to this, of course, you can see I'm doing the same form that I always do. I'm bringing those elbows down to my side, trying to go as stretched as I can, and then forcing it back up, exploding back up into the rep. The reason why I'm bringing my elbows inwards is because it takes some of the stress off the front of the shoulder, which is where people so commonly have issues and have injuries, especially when they're doing barbell bench press. You know, I'm also not going to come on this video and say that I'm perfect, because I'm 100% not. Like, for example, in these sets, as it gets harder, as it gets towards the end, you can start to see that I do cheat a little tiny bit in terms of when I'm like trying to get it up, maybe I'm just like twisting my body slightly so I can get that one up, and maybe slightly that way. I think I like stamp my foot on the floor, which for some reason helps me get it up. I think it's kind of the momentum of me almost pushing myself off the floor, which kind of gives me the ability to kind of heave the weight upwards so I can squeeze out another rep, which, to be honest, isn't really that good. Shouldn't be doing it. Now we're doing the tricep rope pushdown. This is a classic, a complete unnegotiable when it comes to creating your own workout plan. Because this is so good at engaging the muscles, you can also get it in the stretched position if you do like I'm doing here, in terms of I'm bending over, which means there's more tension in the muscle when it's at this position instead of it just being loose. Again, trying to keep your elbows in the same position. I will also echo what I said from the last set, is that I'm not perfect. I know that sometimes in these sets, and specifically in this exercise, I do utilize the back a little bit by kind of bringing my shoulders back, which gives me a little more momentum in my elbows to actually get the rep through, which again is another cheat, but I only do it minimally and I never really feel anything bad from it. Again, it's not optimal form, but it does help me get the reps in. You'll also see in this as well I'm doing a superset, which isn't something that I've actually done yet in this series, which is using the same rope, but this time I'm working the rear delts. Now, the shoulders are kind of complex muscles. In terms of, in the group of the shoulder, it's got 3 muscles. So you're looking at the front delt here, which is typically used for chest presses and stuff like that, all pushing motions. Kind of use this in one way or another. The side of the shoulder, which I'll be working later, again another push day one, and then the back, so the rear shoulder itself is actually more incorporated in pull exercises. So the shoulder itself isn't actually a push muscle, it's a little bit of a hybrid between the both, but I choose to use it in this workout just because I like to kind of round it out a little bit instead of just neglecting the rear shoulders, because a lot of people do that. And you can oftentimes see actually in a physique or in just someone's body if they have or have not actually utilized this muscle. But yeah, I'm just doing these pulls. I'm making sure that it's going above my body, such as this, which actually is what engages the shoulders, because if you're just pulling and you're pulling it downwards, you're going to just be working your back. But if you pull it above your body, then you're going to be working those rear shoulders. Now I'm doing the shoulder machine press. Now people might hate on this and say, oh, you can't get any gains if you're using a machine. You need to make sure that you're using free weights because only the real bodybuilders use free weights. And that's just not the case. Number one, these machines are specifically made for you to hit that muscle. They might not hit it 100%, but almost no exercises hit something 100%. They have been specifically crafted for you to hit this muscle. Like, for example, I'm doing the shoulder press now. It has been crafted for me to be able to hit the shoulders at an optimum angle. Number two, it's got the form specifically made for me already, so I don't have to think about that, which opens up the benefit for number three, which is in fact I'm able to push more and I'm able to use more strength because I'm not thinking about the form anymore. I can just focus on getting the weight up and I can just focus on engaging that muscle. Machine chest press. Now this has all the same benefits of the shoulder press that I was just talking about, apart from it actually has an additional benefit, at least in my opinion, is that it works the middle section of the chest and the lower section as well. Just because it's not at an incline, you're able to get a more full and round hit of your chest, which will make it look fuller instead of it just kind of looking big on the top, which might look good in t-shirts, but is this really the look that we're going for? I myself don't ever do barbell bench press like on a flat bench, like the most popular kind of exercise that there is out there. I never really do that. One, because I don't like it. And two, because I feel like with this machine in particular, I'm able to just not think about form. I can just use as much power as I can instead of having issues with my shoulders and knowing when to do this and knowing when to do that. This is a lot simpler. And number three, when I'm doing a flat bench press, unless I have a spotter with me, which I almost never have a friend come into the gym with me, I'm almost always doing it alone, I can't really go to failure unless, I don't know, I've got like a death wish. I am able to safely go to failure with one of these machines as opposed to going on a flat bench. And obviously going to failure is extremely important for muscle growth and muscle hypertrophy. Now here's the last exercise of this workout actually, which is lateral raises. This is a hugely important exercise to do in your workout, specifically if you're doing it for aesthetics reasons. Now this is because while the side of the shoulders might be a smaller muscle, hence why you always have to do a lower amount of weight, usually like if you're new, start at legitimately like 4 kilograms. You want to do it for a low weight and for a long amount of reps, so you're able to pump a lot of more blood into that muscle and you're able to break down the muscular fibers a little bit better than if you were to just do it for like 4 reps. That would increase your strength and not really your size. In particular, this muscle works this bit in particular. What it does is it makes you just generally look thicker. It helps contribute to that V formation that we're all looking for in terms of having wider shoulders and a thinner waist. It gives you those wider shoulders. It makes you look wider, makes you look bigger. It's kind of an unnegotiable in all gym routines really. And you'll also notice that I do cheat the reps a little bit in this. Now, I hesitate to say I cheat it, you see, because it's kind of, I'm doing partial reps. So in my opinion, and from my understanding and from my experience in the gym, I can assess what works and what does not work for me. Now, doing partials on lateral raises might not work for you at all. Don't get me wrong, that's fine. But for me personally, I feel like I'm able to get a lot more juice out of my muscles if I just do some partial reps. So partial reps, if you don't know, is just doing the rep 50%. So instead of just bringing the lateral raise all the way up to the top, I might be completely gassed out, and then as you can see, I kind of go 50%. Now, technically that 50% isn't doing as much as if I did a full range of motion, but I'm not able to do a full range of motion at this point. If I can still give 50% and 50% for reps, then I've got way more juice in my muscles than I should do if I were to stop. Now, obviously, do not do this if you're trying to pick up the 20 kilogram weights and you're trying to do it like that, and then you're just saying, oh, I'm just going to do it partials, and you do like 10 partials like that, because that's not going to work. Partials is a thing that you put at the end of your sets to just really milk the last juice out of your muscles in order to get muscle hypertrophy. I'm just doing it because I have a lighter weight, which is actually the most I've ever done for lateral raises. I can feel that I can handle just squeezing that last bit out. 81.6 kilograms is really good for me. This is like closest to the heaviest I've ever been. I think the heaviest I ever was maybe 82 kilograms, and that was maybe a month or two ago. Actually, no, I think it was before Christmas. I was 82 kilograms, but now, if I'm quite honest, although I am 81.6, this is the biggest that I've ever looked in terms of muscularity. I'm not really holding that much fat. I'm holding a very healthy amount of fat, but I am gaining muscle, which is really the goal. I don't just want to increase my weight and then just end up looking like Peter Griffin from Family Guy, but then saying, oh, but I'm 90 kilograms. That's not the intention. The intention is to stay at this body fat, but at 90 kilograms. Thank you guys for watching. Watch this video up here if you want to see my previous video. Have a good day, everyone.